Another year, another polarizing draft discussion before the season even comes to a close. Let's talk about it. Before we get started, just wanted to mention you can follow on social media at Matt O'Leary NY. If you haven't already, please make sure to check out the Just Jets podcast. New episodes come out every Wednesday. And finally, these days it can be hard to find and hire the right candidates for your small business. That's why LinkedIn Jobs makes it easier to find the people that you want to talk to faster, and it's free. So if you're a business owner, why aren't you using it? You can create a job post in just minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to what's the world's largest professional network of over 770 million people, by the way. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates that you want to talk to faster. Did you know every week nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your job for free at linkedin.com/mo. That is linkedin.com/mo to post your job for free. Terms and conditions may apply. Okay, so this conversation started out on Twitter yesterday and early this morning, and part of it's my fault because it's a little bit more of a nuanced conversation, and trying to do that in 240 characters isn't always an easy thing to do. However many characters, 280, whatever. And the point is, it's hard to just go back and forth on Twitter all day long. So what I wanted to do was talk about Kyle Hamilton, who is a really good safety prospect out of Notre Dame. And he's a very, very polarizing figure, as some Jet fans would love a player like Kyle Hamilton, and other Jet fans don't want to see the Jets go with that position so early. And I kind of fall into that last category, and we'll get into why. For a few reasons. One, I'm going to always go back to what positions that I value. And while I've seen people on Twitter say, well, didn't you want Tyler Linderbaum? And yeah, I would be completely okay with taking Linderbaum with probably the Seattle pick. I value offensive guard significantly more than I value safety. And I know Hamilton's a great safety prospect. He does more than your average safety. But the Jets have tried this before, and it hasn't worked. And yes, I'm going to point to Jamal Adams, because in 2017, the Jets used a 6th overall pick on Jamal, who was at the time a generational type of player. And yeah, maybe he wasn't as good in coverage as a player like Hamilton is, but the same things that are being said about Hamilton now were being said about Jamal in 2016 into 2017. He's someone who would come in and change your culture. He's someone who would come in and help a really bad defense improve pretty much overnight. And you know what? Before falling off the last couple of years after the trade, he was one of the best box safeties in the NFL. And he was a really good player. There's a reason why he was in Pro Bowls and All-Pro. And I think Kyle Hamilton could be a Pro Bowler or All-Pro level player. It's just that I don't know if he is going to have the impact that I am looking for out of a top 10 pick. When the Jets drafted Adams, their defense went 22nd, 29th, and 16th in the NFL in the 3 years that he was here. Is all that on Jamal? No, obviously not. But that's kind of the point, is that it's not going to be on just one player, and it's more about impacting what you think is more of a game changer. Is Hamilton going to do that for this team? Maybe. I'm just not willing to bet on that. And the funny thing was, with the Adams pick, that was 3 years after they took a safety in the first round anyway. So then 5 years after you take Jamal, you're going to try to run that back again? And sure, yes, different coach, different player, prospect could turn out differently. I understand all of that. But even if he comes in and is playing at a Pro Bowl level, is he going to be the thing that brings the Jets defense from 32 all the way up to the top, and now they're going to be one of the best teams in the league because they drafted Kyle Hamilton? No, to me, how I laid out on Twitter earlier, in 2 years from now, if the Jets are 3-10 at the bye week, Kyle Hamilton is looking like he's going to make his first Pro Bowl, but the Jets have like the 22nd defense in the league, then what are we doing this for at that point? And I'm not saying ignore safety altogether. That's not what I'm saying here. I'm just saying with what? The first pick, because Seattle's pick is moving back more and more as we speak. So let's say that ends maybe somewhere around 10 to 12, somewhere in that range. And the Jets pick 4, 5, 6, somewhere in there. Edge, offensive line, those seem to stick out significantly more to me than going with a safety, because I think they would have more of an impact on this team specifically. And what you could do in safety, again, I'm not saying ignore it and go in what you have right now, what you're trotting out there, but sign a Marcus Williams, who is 2 years younger than what Marcus May is as a free agent safety, and who's a good player who's probably going to make similar money to Marcus May. Or maybe this is where you bring in that veteran presence, because the team, you know what? They do need a veteran presence. Will Tyrann Mathieu come here if you want to pay him? Or what about a Adrian Phillips coming from these cultures who know how to win? And then to pair with a guy like that, maybe you're taking a Jordan Battle in round 2, or even a Ron McKinley, or Brandon Joseph in round 3 or 4, in that range. To me, that's more a sustainable plan on building a roster than trying to plug the safety hole with the 4th overall pick. And look at what this team, Robert Saleh and Greg Olbrich, or Jeff Olbrich, I do that a million times, are trying to do. In 2019, the 49ers trip to the Super Bowl. In 2019, Ward and Tart were their safeties. And sure, Jimmy Ward was the 30th overall pick in 2014 by Regime a few years prior. But was their safety play the reason why that defense was so good? Was their safety play what Robert Saleh was going for? Or was it because Armstead, Bosa, Buckner, D Ford were getting after the quarterback? Or was it because they had linebackers like Fred Warner or Greenlaw out there making tons and tons of tackles? I'm leaning more towards the latter there. I think edge presence is what this team philosophy is. Getting after the quarterback is what this team philosophy is. That's what I think they're going to do on the defense early in this draft. You can't go into next year with just Carl Lawson on the edge. I love Carl Lawson. I think that was a great free agent signing. It really sucks that he got hurt because he's a good player. But you need someone on the other side. Shaq Lawson can't do it. John Franklin Myers is more of an interior guy. He's playing out of position when he's on the edge. He needs to be coming from the middle. They have some nice pieces on this defensive line as is right now, but the edge presence just isn't there. It's not, and that's a big reason. Linebacker depth outside of C.J. Mosley. Quincy Williams has been nice. Is he someone who you want to have to play on the field a ton? No, I think maybe he's probably more of a rotational guy on a good defense. You have Bryce Hall at corner, who I like a lot. But can you get by with average safety play by spending, $10 million, $12 million in free agency and a 2nd or 3rd round pick on the position rather than the 4th overall pick? Probably. So that's why I want to go that direction. It's not that I think Kyle Hamilton's a bad player. He isn't. He's a very good player. I just think with the laundry list of team needs, that addressing safety 4th, 5th, 6th overall after you did that 5 years ago, and since then your best season was 7-9, I don't think that's the wise choice. I don't think following the same draft plans over and over and over again that you've done since 2010, when the last time they made the playoffs, is going to do it for me. It's the same logic of drafting Muhammad Wilkerson in 2011 to just draft Sheldon Richardson in 2013 to just draft Leonard Williams in 2015, and around and around and around we go. That's why. It's more nuanced, I guess, than just don't draft a safety that high. And I get it. I understand the polarization here, but I don't want to go down that rabbit hole again. If you do, God bless you. If the Jets do draft Kyle Hamilton, I hope he turns out to be a Pro Bowl, all-pro caliber player. I would be rooting for that. He would be a fun player on this team. I just really hope it would translate to wins on the football field and a more complete roster. And that's what I'm unsure of. Let me know in the comments below. Again, it's a polarizing topic. I'm sure you're going to have people who love the take, hate the take, whatever. Get at me on social media. I'm Matt O'Leary, NY. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you next time.